even though this administration, this White House, goes through the motions of saying they support our allies and they want to restore alliances, if you look at their actions, what that really means is basically to make life safe for diplomatic cocktail parties in old Europe, in Brussels, in Paris, and in Berlin. So they went through the motions in the Pacific. They, Blinken, the Secretary of State, along with the Secretary of Defense, first visited our allies, Japan and Korea. But then the real diplomacy happened on the way home when they met the Chinese in Alaska, and they got a schooling from the Chinese about how America is supposedly racist, and they sat on their hands and didn't defend America. And really what they're getting to in the Pacific is trying to cut a deal with China eventually, I think, over climate. Now, when it comes to the Middle East, sort of same situation where, this administration seems at best to be indifferent to our fundamentally important allies. And it's sometimes hostile. We'll see what happens with Israeli politics and the change of government there, but certainly they're hostile to Prime Minister Netanyahu. I think the left in America and, sort of high-minded moralists of the human rights movement, hostile to Mohammed bin Salman, the crown prince who essentially runs Saudi Arabia. So it's again this situation where we seem to be going tougher on our allies, the ones that matter most. I mean, Belgium is not going to help us in the Middle East. France, probably not either. Germany, I think we can say not. Saudi Arabia is important. The UAE is important. Israel is the most important. And so you have this sort of situation where our allies are sort of made to think that they need to cut deals with the bad actors in their region because the United States doesn't have their back. And Saudi Arabia in particular has a somewhat horrifying capacity for pragmatism. After all, they're the ones who backed al-Qaeda in Iraq in the worst days in 2005 and 2006 because they saw their interests being challenged. So, I'd be worried about those talks between Riyadh and Tehran.